Good morning, guys. It is Saturday morning, and here we are in this beautiful day. It's about 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. We've been up for about, 2 hours or so because the puppies need to go out. And today, it's Saturday. So Saturday is going to be cleanup day. So today, my kitchen is a mess. Come with me while I clean it up. Come on back. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna focus on today is cleaning up the dishes. And better way to start is to wash the dish strainer. So I like to pour some bleach inside of it, let it sit, get all that grime that's been sitting, and then scrub it out. So here I am with my handy dandy scrubber, and I'm gonna scrub that out. And you wanna make sure you get where your utensils go, because that seems to hold some grime in there too. And then I'm going to rinse it out really thoroughly before I put my dishes into it. I haven't taken a shower yet today because we're going to clean the house. That's why I look the way I look. So please forgive me. And a few weeks ago, I found this cute little strainer, sage color. It's got the little brackets to hold the dishes, and then of course the cutlery. So I like this better than the basic one that's metal because you can clean this really thoroughly and it won't get all rusted and grimy. Next stop is I'm going to start putting my dishes together to wash them. So we've got this pile of dishes from breakfast. I'm going to wash them up really well. I think that's a better angle for you all. Of course, Luna's trying to figure out what we're doing in here. And I always start with my plates first. And try not to burn myself because I'm really good at that. Thankfully, it's only the two of us and of course the dogs. And I always make sure I wash their bowls as well, because their bowls hold a lot of bacteria because of their mouths. You know, when I was a kid, they used to say, dogs' mouths are cleaner than humans. I don't think so. Because one, we brush our teeth, and two, they just eat so much awful things. So what are you guys doing today? I'm gonna clean up and organize my kitchen, spend time with the babies, and work on this channel a little more. We like to use Dawn soap. What do you guys like to use? And then I'm gonna bring in my silverware and my cup and my bowls. So this morning we had eggs, pancakes, sausage, bacon, and fruit and oatmeal. And I always wash their bowls along with our stuff, because like I said, they hold a lot of bacteria. And I noticed that they're really grimy too. And they're just watching, inspecting, making sure the cleanup is done correctly. And now onto our silverware. What did you guys have for breakfast? Did you guys cook? Maybe grab a bowl of cereal? Maybe fasting? What did you guys have? Leave me a message in the comments. And do you guys have your cutlery sitting up or down? So if the forks and the knives are facing down, or forks and knives are facing up? I have them down so that we don't get poked with the forks or the knives. But I saw that there's a huge debate because some people think they don't get clean if they're up, and some people think they do get clean if they're down. So stay clean. Then of course I've got my coffee cup, because who doesn't have a witch coffee cup that says bad witch inside. Got it for my birthday. Thank you, JJ. And then we also have this that I used to cook breakfast on this morning. So I want to make sure that's cooked thoroughly. That's cleaned thoroughly. We have this little basket. After the dishes are done, we like to empty it in the trash because it fills up kind of food clutter. Next up, we're going to wash up our stove. This is from like this morning breakfast and some grime from some of the pans overflowing. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove all this stuff here in the corner so I can clean it properly. I have all these vitamins I give our dogs. This is to help with their itch, A dog is human. They say it's supposed to work well with their itching, but I don't see much of a difference. And then I also have the omega-3 vitamins that we give our dogs with their dinner, mostly Willow because Luna will eat them. Okay, so now that I have most of it cleared out, I'm going to start spraying with this. It's Clorox foamer. It works really well. It gets up all the bacteria. It gets all the grime and the good and all the crappy stuff that you're trying to get rid of. And I let it sit for a little bit just so I can get it up easier. So I'm going to remove all these and throw them in the trash as we go along. So here we go. And these I'll just throw in the trash because I have replaceable ones. I'm going to start spraying my stove with my Clorox foamer. And then of course the countertop over here because it needs to be cleaned up as well. This I'm just going to sit in the sink and then I'm going to spray the countertops because this is where we keep the dog's treats and stuff and I just want to make sure it's clear of bacteria. Then I'm going to bring out my scrub brush because there's nothing like elbow grease that helps get stuff away. So here we go. All right, now we're going to start working on our stove. I'm going to do the top first just to allow the bleach to sit a bit longer with the other stuff because the top of it is not that bad. It's the bottom that's bad. So this bleach works really good to get all the grime and grit off. Because stoves collect so much crap, debris from the fire, and then it's nothing like good old elbow grease. That's what Grandma used to say, put your elbows into it. And 9 times out of 10, I say 9.5 out of 10. She was absolutely right. There's always that slight chance that you can't get it off. Now I'm going to go get a rag so we can wipe it all up and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, I'm going to wet my rag with hot water. Make sure I squeeze out all the excess. Are you guys doing Saturday cleanup today? What is in your day for today? Now I'm going to clean up my black pan so I can put it back on the counter. Wipe it down so it's not that wet. Take the excess off. All right, so that is done. Now I'm going to start working on wiping down the stove. Of course, I'm going to start with the top because I want all the dirt to come down. And now I'm going to start with the top of it. All right, now I've removed all those silly little toothpicks. I can start wiping everything down and getting it all cleaned up. And I know the stove is dirty, so please don't come at me with that. I'm just trying to be real, like I said in the beginning of the channel. This is going to be cleanup, organizing, all different things. So cleanup, dirt is part of it. This is not been sitting very long. It's only been a week because I do this every Saturday. Through the week, it's hard because I work at a doctor's office, so I don't have a lot of time to wipe things down. And you know, I love my husband to death. But, you know, he doesn't do the deep cleaning like I do, which I get. He's just a wipe it down and keep it moving type of guy. Because he knows that I'll do it. Let me know, does your husband do a deep cleaning or does he just do a wipe up like mine? And that's okay because we kind of balance each other out. All right, so there's this. I almost got the stove complete. The top of the stove anyway, not the side of it. My mama was a housekeeper and she taught us a lot of things, how to get things to shine after you clean it. And so I always have her thoughts in my head after I clean of what my mama would have done. And what does your mama do for work? My mama's no longer here, but I do recall all those special little memories we had together. And, you know, like I said, my mom was a cleaner and her house was spotless. You could eat off the floor. And a funny story with my mom, when my sister and I had our children, my mother wasn't a very good diaper changer. Like, she couldn't stand the fecal poopy diapers. So my mother would take newspapers and put them on the floor and change the babies on the floor on top of the newspapers, so that when the diapers were taken off, she would fold up the newspaper and go from there. How did your mamas change your babies? Was your mom as crazy as mine, or was your mom a little bit I want to say normal, because that's not normal. It's not normal to put your baby on a piece of newspaper to change their poopy diapers. So now I've put Windex on top to make it shine, make it cleaner, in honor of my mom, because that's what my mother would have done. And I like to do things that my mom taught me. Just makes me remember her, because I miss her so much. All right, so now I'm gonna put and clean the top of the stovetops, because they're dirty. But I can't put bleach on them because I don't want them to break. So I'm just gonna use my scrubber. All right, so there's that, and now I'm gonna pat them dry. There's just these little round things that I put on top of my stovetops because it helps with the burner. They come with the stove. And it's nice to keep them clean, because if they're full of food, then the burner can catch fire. So you want to make sure you take all that off. Next off, for the stove area, we're going to put these replacements on, because it helps keep the stove clean. So you just set them down. I guess I'm missing one. Here we go. There it is, the last one. So it doesn't look offset. And now we're going to return these burner things on top. So now my stove is clean, my counter is clean, and my dishes are done. So now I'm going to start putting the dog stuff back. So this is my dog's cookie jar. Lots of cookies in there in case they do a good job, because they always do. I think we can combine some of these because they're fairly similar treats. Just make sure you take out these little ageless packets, because they're toxic for the dogs. Sometimes when you reach for a treat, you might think you're giving them a treat, but you're giving them some poison. And all the bags have them in there. All right, so now that I've condensed those bags. So what do you give your babies for treats? Do you give them any vitamins? If you do, what do you give them? What kind of flea medication do you give them? We give our babies NexGard. It helps with fleas, ticks, and anything else. This is what we give them. I'm not a sponsor for NexGard, but I wouldn't mind having some type of sponsorship. That was a blooper. Okay, so now I've got my kitchen side organized to clean up, the stove done, the dishes complete. I'm gonna start putting the dishes away. I'll clean the sink. So now I'm gonna put the dishes away and clean this side of the counter, which is very messy and not organized either. And then I've got my clean puppy bowl. And now that that's done and put away, I'm gonna rinse out the sink on this side, both sides. Because there's no sense cleaning your kitchen if you don't clean your sink too. So here's my bleach. And if you have a double sink, that's even better. You want to make sure you do both sides. So when I started this channel, I said I'd be really honest and open and raw. I know normal people wouldn't show all their dirt and debris, but I think it's important to show you guys that I'm a real person, and you know, dirt happens in life. Kitchens get dirty, but you don't have to be a dirty person. You can just clean it up. And like I said, my grandma always said, actually both of them always said, put your elbow grease into stuff. My grandmother, when we were children, I lived with my mom's mom for a while, and she would ask us kids to help her with the dishes. And none of us really wanted to do that because we were kids. And she told us if she found one dish dirty in the sink, she was going to take everything out of the cupboards and we could start over. And because I was a very challenging child, oftentimes I had to wash every dish in the sink. So to me, when my kids do the dishes or whatnot, and there's dirty dishes, even, me, I get mad at myself because I remember when Grammy used to say she's going to take every dish out of the cupboard and we can start. And we want to make sure we clean the stoppers too that go in our sink, just because they're very dirty and grimy. And it doesn't hurt the situation or the process, because I have a garbage disposal on the second sink, and it collects the food debris that come in, just so it doesn't get clustered. And you want to make sure you rinse out your screens and everything. Clean the back of your sink, the top of your sink, and then use your rag that you've been using to wipe things down. I also like to get the back of there just to make sure it's clean. Cleans up all the guff and stuff. And then to rinse it off, I'm going to use my rag because I don't want water to go behind the stove and turn into excess mold or anything like that. Okay, so my sink's done, but before I make it shiny like my mother would do with Windex, I want to clean up that other countertop over here because it's really clustered and messy and I don't like it. So we're going to work on that part next. I put my cleaners there. Oh yes, our toothpicks have to come back over here. So now I'm going to start cleaning up this mess on this side over here. And now I'm going to wash down this extra cutting board. And I'm glad I'm doing this because I noticed this morning while I was cooking some of the grease from the bacon went under the cutting board that we have sitting on our counter. So I don't want ants or any bugs to get to it. So I'm glad I'm doing this. Now I'm going to use my scrubby. And then I'm going to use my rag that we've been using to wipe up the excess bleach. Let me know what you guys are doing today on your Saturday. Are you guys doing cleanup too? I want to show you the girls too. Hold on. My inspectors. Here are my lovely inspectors. Ms. Luna Lay, Miss Willow Rose, making sure everything's done correctly. All right, guys. So I've done the countertops. I've done the stoves. I've done the dishes. Thank you so much for coming with me today. See you next time. Bye.